We are back. We are looking at plays. Hey, let's get better as basketball officials today. Stick around. Greetings. Welcome back to 5 Play Friday. My name is Greg Austin with Better Official. We craft video to help basketball officials get better and take control of their officiating career. What do we like to do? We like to look at plays, look at all of the things. Today we have a You Make the Call play. Block charge again? What do you have on play number one?
Point in the first 7 minutes of this quarter, 29-27. They've actually scored the last 6 points prior to that as they've regained the lead for the first time since the second quarter. A tough runner to the basket by Myers.
And no call.
All right, lots going on that play. What do you have? What's your ruling? No call, correct? Was that a block? Illegal use of hands? Did we have a bad screen? What do you have on that play? Put your ruling in the show comments below and stick around to the end of the video. You know we'll be looking at all of the things on play number one. With that, let's move on to play number two. All right. Everybody knows this is a block. Everybody knows, right? So we have a situation where we have a defender, secondary defender in the middle of the lane. And the question is, by rule, what does this player do that is illegal? 99 times out of 100, this will be ruled a block because that's just the way these plays are officiated. But just ask yourself, what is illegal about this secondary defender on this play? Now, this is an extreme example of a defender knowing that contact is coming, turning their body to absorb that contact. Is that legal by rule? Yes, it is. Again, this is an extreme example. Do they move their body in the path of the airborne player? Right, so let's look at all the things here. Again, this is always going to be called a block. But my question here is, what has the defender done illegally on this play? Let's take a look. I think this is a three-person game. I don't know where our trail official is. Secondary defender, green 23, steps up. Let's go back just a tick. Are they legal? Have they established legal guarding position here? They have 2 feet on the floor. Their torso is facing their opponent. This player is legal. Sensing impending contact, they turn their body. Legal by rule. They don't turn their body into the path of the player. They turn their body. This is a legal play by our defender. They are displaced by their opponent. and a blocking foul is ruled. Now, many officials will say, oh, you got to take it. You got to take it like a man, son. You must absorb the contact in your torso, in your face and torso area, right? And we're often affected by behaviors by defenders. They do a thing, they start to go, they have some body motion that makes us think. So again, I'm not saying that this was an inappropriate call. Everybody knows this is a block. Everybody in the gym knows this is a block. But by rule, this is a legal play by our defender. As amazing as that is. So we'll see some variations of this. This is an extreme example. The kid just totally bails, and our brain says they've given up their legal guarding position, etc. Right? But just recognize that we can have a defender who maybe starts to turn their body in a fashion that protects themselves from imminent contact. They don't have the resolve that their coach wants to stand in there and take the charge. Oh, so. Hey, conventional wisdom on that play says it's a block. Conventional, the application consistently, the way it would be officiated in the wild would say it's a block. Our defender was legal by rule. Conventional wisdom also says we've got a tremendous group of show supporters here at 5 Play Friday. Let's see who is up on the big board today. Richard Masterson, Eric Eichacker, Richard Catan, Richard Mcgee, and Brian Maki. Much appreciated and much love. You want to support the show, you can always buy us a coffee. There'll be a link on the screen here, in the show description, in the first pinned comment, and yes, up above. Show supporters dominated by Richards today. All right, with that, let's move on to our next play.
And out of bounds. You got it? And with 30 seconds left to go, nice pass. Gray gets underneath the basket and up and good. Oh, there's a steal by Winquist. And the foul. And she gets the foul. Basket is...
All right, that happened suddenly. Sometimes plays come out of the blue when we can be surprised by them. This is a super close block charge play. Official needs, in this instance, if they've got to look at the play, they've got to look at the defender, they just have to make a judgment about whether this defender, who was obviously moving towards the player, the ball handler on this play, but that moving towards would end when they establish a position. Does it happen on this play? Let's take a look at all of the things. So we have a throw in after a scored goal. Player steals. Our thrower, the player who threw the inbounds pass, is now moving to guard this player, obviously moving towards them, and a defender who is moving towards an opponent will always be liable for a block, but they, prior to contact, stop short, so the moving forward is no longer in play. Who establishes their feet on the floor first? And of course, our defender, even though they put their feet on the floor, their body, their torso is moving in towards our airborne player in this situation. I guess our key moment is right? So our defender gets her feet down prior, but the calling official on the play, ooh, rules a block. You know, our defender never appears to get vertical, and a lot of times when that's the case, our brain says that's a block. So a sudden play, but let's look at some of the key components of the play as just look at the habits and fundamentals of the crew. It's something we like to emphasize in our officiating training, right? So we're coming out, we have a backcourt throw-in, our crew's in fantastic position for this play, right? We have a play at the basket, etc. And then we note the first reaction of our crew is to do default things. Well, like I'm going to move because we're going to the other end of the court, right? So our lead official turns and runs, right? Did the game tell the official you need to turn and run? Or was that just a default reaction? Do we know whether this team has been pressing the whole game? I don't know from the clip. But we need to evaluate what the defense is doing to determine where we go next on the floor. Our center official turns and walks looking at players over their shoulder. Is that what we want to do in this situation? Right? Center needs to turn, and their first reaction as center in this situation is always, ball goes in the basket, stay put. What's our defense doing? Are they putting pressure in the backcourt, etc.? Right? Not that it would be the center's call, but if we did not have a call from our lead official in this situation, we'd obviously want to come in with a ruling on the play for an obvious play that needed a whistle, right? So notice this first reaction when the ball goes in the basket, right? First reaction should be, what's the defense doing? Right? You see how the white players are saying, no, we're going to, oh, it was just the one white player. Nice. Hey, that play was submitted by Chris Janish from South Dakota. If you want to submit a play for 5 Play Friday, there will be a link in the show description. First comment, and I will put one up above. You can submit your play, and it may appear on a future episode of 5 Play Friday. All right, next play.
Calls basket interference against the Wildcats. Get the pad in the ball. Checking back in for the Wildcats, number 22, Tyler Grebening.
All right, it's great to see this play. We have to know the rules of the game. That's the bottom line. We have to know the rules of the game to officiate the game. Now, sometimes we get plays that are unusual, we may not have seen before, and we are left to our own devices to figure out what should happen next in this situation, right? In this instance, we have a player who is grasping the ring, playing the basketball with their other hand. This is by rule a player technical foul. This is not a basket interference violation. You can touch the basket and contact the basketball that is not in the cylinder. This is not a basket interference violation. Many officials in this situation know, well, something illegal has happened, but they're not sure what. And things that happen that are illegal at the basket are often treated as basket interference or goaltending, etc. So the correct adjudication of this play would be player technical foul. Now, what are the positives that our crew display here? We get together and discuss. What do we have on this play? Right? We know that we need to make a ruling as a crew. The crew gets together. They don't have the key rules knowledge in the situation. They come out with a ruling. Fantastic. In the absence of knowing the rules, we need to make a decision. We may need to make a ruling in the play. Now, this is a first period play scenario. If we make an incorrect ruling here, then yes, the teams have an opportunity to correct. But if this situation occurred with 5 seconds remaining in a game, we would have a dramatic impact on the result of a game, right? So we come together as a crew, we make a ruling, and then we spend basically 60 seconds of moving around on the court, right? This is what we want to avoid. If we need to explain this ruling, get your coaches together. Get your coaches together. Here's what we have on the play. We have basket interference by rule, right? Whether we know it or not, right? That will be the ruling. We are going to wipe the goal. The opponent has the ball for an end line throw-in, a spot throw-in in this situation, right? That's the way we're going to play it. That's how we're going to move on. Right? We don't have to give the coaches an opportunity to debate the veracity of our call. That's what we're doing, etc. Let's get the ball back in play. Let's play basketball. Get the coaches back to coaching in this situation. By going to one coach and making an explanation, and then going to another coach and making an explanation, we don't make the game better. Come together as a crew, determine the ruling on the play. If necessary, go get both coaches together. Here is the ruling. Here's what's going to happen next. Here's what I need from you, if that would be appropriate in this situation, and get the ball in play. Now, that being said, if you are a young official and you have been in the rules book and you have a scenario that occurs in your game and your veteran partners maybe say, no, this is what we have on this play, and you know that this is a player technical foul by rule, you have to insert yourself into the game. One of the advantages for young officials, one of the ways that young officials can impact a game is with rules knowledge. Sometimes veteran officials become a little disconnected with the rules book. And as a young official, you can just say, look, I was in the rules book last night. I know this is a player technical foul by rule. This is a player technical foul by rule, right? And, make declarative statements, fight for the proper ruling in this instance, and you will be, it's one of the ways that young officials can add value to the crew is keeping the crew from making errors. Now, one of the things we have here at A Better Official is we have new official training. It's just coming online starting on this weekend. I encourage you, if you are a new official, to take advantage of it. There's a link on the screen. There will be a link in the show description. I will put it in the first pinned comment, and I will put a link up above. This will be free training for new officials. We'll have a real focus on, all the basics. So take advantage of that. Let's look at play number 5.
Hit that shot. And it was good, and he'll go to the line to try to complete a three-point play. 28 points for Keegan Jersley. I don't know how he hit that. That was impressive. Jersley to the line. Goaltend. Basket is good, and it must be a extra free throw for Jersley with nobody around him. Yeah, it was a technical foul on O'Neal. So Mosney hits the 2 extra free throws, plus will get possession here, and it's a 6-point.
All right, so now we have a game that is a little more competitive. High-scoring game. We've got a situation where an opponent of the thrower contacts the basketball illegally at the basket. There's pressure from the stakeholders in the game that is a goaltending violation. Of course, everybody knows that you cannot goaltend a free throw. That would be a player technical foul by rule. And that is the judgment that the officials make on the play. They do a great job of coming up with their ruling, going in, presenting their ruling, and so it's all resolved at this point, and then administering the game effectively from there. So these habits and fundamentals are fantastic by this crew. Our problem today is that this is not a goaltending violation. This is a basket interference violation, and is simply a basket interference violation, right? So our crew has made an erroneous ruling, right? Because is this a play we see? Do we often see basket interference violations on free throws? No, we don't. So, it's just a great example. There's some super positives in this instance, but again, we just have an absence of the correct rules knowledge in this situation. We misapply the rules. Could that have a bearing on this game? That we essentially 2 free throws and the ball for the team that is trailing. If they were to ultimately win, and we've made this erroneous ruling, that would be not ideal for us in our situation. So, understanding the difference between goaltending and basket interference during a free throw, let's take a look. So, during a free throw, an opponent may not goaltend, and a goaltend during a free throw is considered to be contacting the ball in flight. Okay? So if we look at this situation, if I was to go here and I was to go here, if the player releases the throw and it's contacted any point, right? Normally, goaltending is after the ball has reached its apex, the ball cannot be contacted on its downward flight when it has a chance to go in. But during a free throw, even if it was contacted on the upward flight, if the player released the try, the opponent jumps up and slaps the ball and it's still on its upward trajectory, that would be a player technical foul by rule. So we've had a chance to look at that. So understanding the rules, obviously critical. It's critical in all situations. It's more critical in end-of-game situations. And again, as that young official who is in the rules book, as all officials should be. You can really contribute to your game if you get into a situation where the crew is unsure of the ruling. Hey, back at the start of the show, we had play number 1. What did you have? Let's look at all the things on play number 1.
Point in the first 7 minutes of this quarter, 29-27. They've actually scored the last 6 points prior to that as they've regained the lead for the first time since the second quarter. Oh, a tough runner to the basket by Myers.
And no call.
All right, we have a lot going on this play, right? We have a ball in the Trail's primary coverage area in a 2-person game. Gray area, drive to the basket, screening action, hard contact at the basket, no call on the play. Let us look at all of the things, right? So our Trail official is working out onto the court here, and we have... Right, we've got the attempted steal there, and our Trail has this on-ball matchup. Player then drives to the basket. We've got screening action here, and we've got a secondary defender coming here. Right, so we have to ask ourselves at this point, who is officiating what? Right, we've got a player without a defender going to the basket. Who is going to... Right, so our Trail official has to officiate where our partner cannot on this play. Being in this spot on the floor, sort of volleyball line intersection, this is not an uncommon spot for officials to be in as Trail in 2-person. We've got to find something to officiate on this play. We've got screening action. Was this defender legal? Was there illegal contact on this play? Everything about this says, oh, they jumped from A to B, and then they had the hard swing. There's got to be something on this play. But do we see any illegal contact on this play? Gets to a spot on the floor. They jump vertically, and then they swing their arm down. But is there contact on the swing? Cannot see it. The body contact on this play was legal. First look at this play, it looks like our defender goes from A to B, but he gets to the spot, goes vertical. The swing without contact would be a legal play. I don't know that our lead official actually got a look, the ability to transfer our eyes on this play. If you are the Trail on this play, you need to pick up that secondary defender, right? That would be a key takeaway from me on this play, right? What are we officiating as Trail here, right? We have to officiate something. And the fact that we're getting into more onto the court does not do us any favors here. We've got to pick up that secondary defender. If there was an obvious foul, we would need to get that. Play on. Play on. No, I'm going there. So, all right, a great play to look at. Are we completely sure our lead got to the spot to transfer their eyes to the secondary defender? No. But in the absence of an obvious foul, which is not apparent on this video, this would appear to be a no call correct. Legal defender. The swipe down misses. If that swipe down had any sort of contact on the arm, that would obviously be a foul. But in the absence of proof Apparently a great no call by the league. Hey, we have time for a bonus play. Let's take a look. Hey, just a quick banger. In our game, we have to understand the game situation. We have to be aware, time, score, what is expected in this situation. The opponent here is down 5. They need to foul to stop the clock. Fouling in high school basketball in an end-of-game situation is acceptable strategy. Okay? So when our first player contacts our ball handler, you could say they are not making an attempt at the ball. They are attempting to foul. We want to, in this situation, get the first foul. Don't force the team to then make a subsequent second foul, which in this instance could very clearly rise to the level of an intentional foul. We have an off-balance player, a hand in the back from behind, the player goes to the floor, etc. Just be aware, in this situation, this team is trying to foul. A breath, a light touch of any sort, the team wants you to call a foul. It does not have to rise to any significant level of contact in this situation. Put the call in the game, rule the foul, award the bonus free throws here, etc. This is what everybody in the game is expecting and wants in this situation. Our center official, if you are in this position, you are officiating this play. Get the first foul is our takeaway on this play. The game will be better when you do. Hey, thanks for joining us today. Much appreciated. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. If you take advantage of the opportunity to like the video, it's super helpful with us. Helps us with the YouTube algorithm and gets more officials watching the show so we can all get better together. And together, we have tremendous show supporters. I'd love to thank right now Richard Masterson, Eric Eichacker, Richard Catan, Richard Mcgee, Brian Maki. Much appreciated, much love by people who are named Richard and those who are not. If you want to support the show, there will be a link in the show description in the first pinned comment. And yes, I will put one up above. Fantastic. Additional video content is available for you. A video is available. I've got a link to the new official training sign up. Get involved with that if you're a new official. And I will see everyone in our next video. Take care, everybody.